Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode here for part 8 of our F1 2021 MyTeam career mode, preparing ourselves for the British Grand Prix. Last time out we were at Austria, where we got ourselves our third points finish of the season. Very happy with that result. Hopefully we can continue on this time out. To be fair, I'm not a massive fan of Silverstone. It's a track that I normally don't go well at, but hopefully we can change that this time out. You can see here, buying our first powertrain facility upgrade there with the resource point generation boost. Hopefully get those extra resource points and get upgrades coming in faster to help keep up with and overtake the other teams in that performance chart. You can see buying there a chassis upgrade there with the engine cover for some weight redistribution, which will sort of help the car get a bit easier to control, a bit easier to understand, and yeah, that'll hopefully lead to some better pace throughout the races, as you'd hope with the car upgrade, I guess. But we have a lot of upgrades in the pipeline, so hopefully they start filtering through at a decent pace so that we can keep up with those other teams, because we have been struggling. You can see here we've got a bit of a dilemma, and I decided here to go with launch without to help with Matsushida's pace, because yeah, at the moment that's where he seems to be struggling. We also get that 15k cash as opposed to the 32k, but in the end that's not really a lot of money when it comes to the F1 world. So yeah, I just thought that was the better option to go with. But we're moving through the calendar here. You can see our activity is getting complete, and we're ready to move on to the weekend. So that's all that sort of admin stuff done nice and early. And having a look at the performance chart, we've brought in an upgrade, but everyone else has brought in even more. You can see Williams makes a massive jump there, and they're basically equal with us. You can see on the left-hand side, it still says we're ahead, but the lines are basically on top of each other. So yeah, it's not going well for us. You can see Haas also made some big jumps there, and they're very close to Alpine, actually, as they overtake Alfa Romeo. So yeah, at the moment, our upgrades are coming in pretty slow. It's just a matter of getting those facilities upgraded so we can get more upgrades in and quicker. In terms of looking further up the chart, we can see McLaren have actually been overtaken by Ferrari there, so that's something very interesting to look at. McLaren have been making massive strides at the start of the season, but they sort of seem to be flatlining a bit now. But skipping over practice, we're not going to be looking at that anymore. It's not really necessary. We got a lot of development upgrades though, and you can see in terms of team acclaim, we are very close to getting to level 10. We'll absolutely have that checked off the books by the end of the episode. Now it's time to move on to qualifying, and happy to report, absolutely no rain. I say happy to report, last time out at Austria when it was raining, our car was absolutely on fire, so maybe we do want the rain, especially around this track where I think I seem to struggle with pace. You can see moving on now to the first qualifying lap of Q1 here, and I've got to say the car was just an absolute dog in this first session. You can see they're getting a massive tank slapper out of turn 3 there. This lap just was not anything to be proud of whatsoever. You can see coming to the last couple of corners, locking up the outside wheel for just a split second there. As we come across the line to complete the lap, you can see we're the slowest of anyone so far, a second off of Matsushita. So a really poor lap. In fact, such a poor lap that I decided to actually stay on this set of softs, just do a cool down lap. And now we're going to go for another fast lap on the same set of tyres, because I reckon we can go quicker just on these tyres. That's how poor the last lap was. And you can see coming to the end of our second lap on these tyres, we're 6, almost 7 tenths up. So yeah, certainly good to do that, but still, we're not as quick as Matsushita. You can see 6 tenths off of Giovinazzi there, and that would be about half a second off of Matsushita, considering we were a second off last time. So we're going to go again for our third lap in Q1 here. This time we are on fresh tyres. You can see heading through Copse, having to really back out of it there, and still running too wide. The car, I just could not get a good grip on it. I made so many different setup changes, and I just could not find a proper rhythm and flow around this track. The car just did not handle as I was really hoping. You can see we're about a tenth and a half up at this stage, but that's not going to be enough to get out, considering we were 6 tenths off of Giovinazzi, and he's only in 18th right now as we head through Stowe I really backed off through there, and I still just ran completely wide. We're about 2/10 up now as we head into this final chicane, trying to ease under the power. You can see the car very twitchy and nervous, and we crossed the line 3/10 up, but it's not enough, and we are out in Q1. So here we are with the results sheet for qualifying. Daniel Ricciardo goes provisional pole there in Q1, so McLaren still doing very well despite dropping down the table. But there you can see us in 21st, Matsushita was in 19th, so yeah, really not a great qualifying for us here in Britain. As I was saying earlier on, I've never really enjoyed this track. I've never found a flow to it. So yeah, this might just be a bit of a write-off round for us. But you can see here, having a look at our acclaim levels, we do finally reach acclaim level 10 there for the team. So we have unlocked another sponsor that we'll be able to choose from at the end of this round. So we'll be picking at the next episode. But that is all for now. On to the race.
Welcome along then to Great Britain and the Great Silverstone Circuit for today's Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to talk to you about Valtteri Bottas. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, Max Verstappen and Sainz, Vettel, Tsunoda, Gasly and Valtteri Bottas. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo and Mick Schumacher, Raikkonen, Mazepin, Antonio Giovinazzi and Nobuharu Matsushita, Russell, Benjamin, Latifi and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Right, so here we are on the grid, and that's a very optimistic message there from Jeff to try and get another points finished, especially after that dismal qualifying session we just had. You can see there it's going to be a one-stop strategy from the softs to the mediums, just sorting out the fill there, and we are ready to go for the Grand Prix. So hopefully we can work our way up the field here, but we're going to go to 5 red lights. And away we go for the British Grand Prix. It's a pretty decent start there. You can see getting ahead, or alongside at least, Nicholas Latifi as we go to turn 1, having to back out to make sure we don't hit our teammate Matsushita there. As we dive down the inside of turn 3 now, it's just a massive gap opens. We're going to go side by side with Nikita Mazepin and try and hold it around the outside here. And we just have to make sure we don't run into the back of Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo there. You can see getting a massive tank slapper as we head on to the straight now. Mazepin with that Ferrari engine is going to try and go to the outside as we head into Brooklands. Is he going to hold it there? Yes, he is. So we're going to have to hold the inside. And as we head into Luffield, we are ahead. And we're going to have to see if we can now close down on the Alfa, as well as the Haas of Schumacher, who's doing extremely well to be up in 14th at the moment, and a part of this battle pack. You can see as we head on to lap 2 now, we've got Mazepin once again coming to try and overtake us, and he's actually going to go to the inside this time as we head down to Brooklands. There's a yellow flag, so what could that be for? He's still going to hold it side by side, so we're still racing through a yellow flag here, and it's Lando Norris. He was right up the front. I think he was in second at this point, and unfortunately there it looks like he's made some sort of mistake or maybe a bit of contact, and he's ended up off in the grass at Brooklands there, and he's right at the back of the field. So that could very well be his race over and out. As we head through Copse, you can see it's still struggling with the car, getting very, very wild out on that curb there, running wide. And now, as we head on the lap 3, once again under attack, although this time it's from Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo, so we're going to now hold it around the outside through Brooklands, very close to making contact there with the Italian. And now as we head through Luffield, we have the inside line. We're going to get a better run, and we're going to be able to slot in front of Giovinazzi and hopefully hold on to this position. But you can see how much pace and how much time we're losing the cars behind. It's lap 3 and we're already 2 seconds back. You can see still struggling with this car as we run wide through Copse. That allows Giovinazzi to get ahead of us as we head through Maggots and Beckett's, and the dirty air just makes the feeling of this car even worse, I can tell you that, as we now head through Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight. We have DRS though, so we're going to be using that end overtake as well as the slipstream that he's providing for us, and we're going to easily go to the inside now as we head into Stowe, and we're going to hold it side by side with Giovinazzi now as we head towards the last couple corners. And there is another yellow flag now as we head through this last chicane here, so I'm not too sure what it is. We are ahead of Giovinazzi now, and looking ahead here on the replay camera, it's actually Max Verstappen with an engine failure. So Verstappen's having a horrible first half of the season here in our career mode, and it's actually caused a safety car here. So this could help us. It's going to get us to the back of that field again. Hopefully this time we can keep up. But you can see here Verstappen just slowing right down. There's actually contact there. You can see Sebastian Vettel's just smashed into the back of Verstappen and completely lost the entirety of his front wing there. So he's going to be having to pit at the end of this lap, I imagine. So he'll be very thankful that a safety got called for this. But you can see in the pit lane this lap we have Vettel, Ricciardo and Perez. Obviously Vettel pitting to fix that damage, but Ricciardo and Perez, as far as I'm aware, they didn't have any damage. Perez was ahead of Verstappen at that point, so it's not like he was sort of caught up in that incident caused by Vettel. But they are all on the hard tyres, so they're on the back of this pack and they shouldn't be having to do any more pit stops. So it'll be interesting how they go now with that alternative strategy to everyone else. But you can see here on the safety car restart, I tried to stay close to Kimi Räikkönen, but I just couldn't. The car was just so nervous and on edge, and I just could not. It just wasn't a good race, to be quite frank. It was a real dog of a car this time. No matter what sort of strategy or no matter what sort of setup change I made, I tried all the different sort of front wing combos there, and it just would not work. You can see heading through Chapel now, we're still losing time to the cars behind. We're in a bit of a no man's land with a group of cars ahead of us, and then we've got a group of cars behind us. But you can see up ahead, Alonso actually has an issue, my engineer told me, and you can see they're going 3 wide through Stowe, and Alonso ends up behind, and now Raikkonen trying to take a slice of the pie as he heads around the outside for this final chicane. We're going to see if we can maybe dip our toes in here and try and make a move on our new rival here after beating Mazepin in our last rivalry. Alonso is our new rival for those that saw after qualifying, and we are down the inside of turn 1, and we do move ourselves up into P10 for now though. We have 3 cars behind of Vettel, Ricciardo and Perez, who are all on the hard tyres. So if we want to be scoring points this round, we're going to have to make up another few positions. But look at Mick Schumacher up in P8 in the Haas. He's doing an incredible job here at the British Grand Prix to be that far up. He could very well be on for his first points finish of his career as we head through Brooklands, just trying to get close here. Hopefully the guys ahead can battle and sort of allow us to catch up and capitalise on anything. You see a bit of a tank slapper there out of Luffield, but on lap 11 we come in for our pit stop here, and you can see a lot of cars coming in. In fact, there's Lando Norris who's right on the back of us. Obviously he had that safety car to help him out, so he's sort of back in this fight, and he's going to be trying to come through for points as well. So at the moment I don't think points are looking too good, but there's a lot of cars coming in for this pit stop stage of the race. So hopefully with us being at the end of the pit lane, we can maybe make up a position or two. Is it a good pit stop? Yes, it is. 1.9 seconds, so very good. And as we come out, we just about get out ahead of Fernando Alonso there. We have actually beaten Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi Räikkönen got held up, and Alonso's thrown him as well. We're through on all of them, so we've made up one effective position here. Unfortunately, we weren't quite able to get Lance Stroll. He was a bit too far ahead. But as it stands, we're out in a provisional P16. Of course, there are other people still to make their pit stop, but we do have to try and hold on to Alonso now. His car issues have all been sorted out, so he's going to be really trying to make his way through, especially now that we're rivals. I think the game sort of gives your rival a bit more aggression. You can see as we head into Brooklyn's, Alonso's going to try and hold it around the outside. We have the inside line. So we're now going to have to hold it around the outside of Luffield here as we go the long way around. We're going to get the better run out of the corner, although we're still side by side. And it actually looks like Alonso has a bit of a damaged front wing there, so that's something to take note of. Maybe he's going to have a bit of trouble later on in this race now with that damage. You can see we sweep around the outside of Cop, and a very twitchy car. We have to run it a little bit wide there to save us from a spin, and we do get ahead though. So hopefully we can pull away, but they're still going to be within DRS, so I imagine it's going to be difficult. You can see Matsushita in this lap. He, pretty standard stuff. Your AR teammate coming in a lap after you as we head down the hang straight and into Stowe. We do have enough of a gap to Alonso to keep it ahead, but you can just see how slow I was going through that corner and still running massively wide. I have no idea what was going on because for those of you that didn't see, we've already done in my multiplayer championship. Round 2 was around this track, and the car was feeling all right at that round. It's just for some reason in this MyTeam car, I could not get a grip on it. But you can see coming around on a bunch of cars in the pit lane, we come out about side by side with Giovinazzi there, and Gio's actually going to go side by side with Alonso now. But Alonso is going to get through on the warmer tyres. He just has the better line through farm there, so Alonso is still our main rival at this point in the race. He's going to have DRS once again, but we do have enough of a gap to hold him behind as we head to Brooklyn. You can see just trying to break any slipstream to keep him as far back as possible, although we do lock up a bit heading into Brooklyn's, and a massive tank slapper heading towards Luffield now. So yeah, at this point we're in P12. This is a legit P12. So unless we have another safety car or a couple of retirements of some cars ahead, I don't think we're going to be getting points this race. And you can see we actually have Alonso and Norris both attack us either side as we head through Stowe here. We are through on Alonso, and now Lando Norris is on our inside. And as we head into the final chicane, a massive bit of wheel spin there as we head through the chicane, and Norris is well and truly gone, and Alonso actually hit the rear of our car there and got some front wing damage, I believe, and he's dropped right back. You can see we've actually got Esteban Ocon now behind us in the other Alpine, so I don't really know where Ocon came from. He's just appeared behind us at this point, but we're not even close enough to get DRS off of Norris, so Ocon is going to be attacking us as we head down the straight. DRS is still enabled, and he's going to absolutely blast past us as we head towards Brooklyn's. Not even close enough to try and make a move. He actually pulls back to the racing line, and I believe that that's going to be that position gone. We're not going to be able to close in on the Alpine there as we're now down to P14. We just have to focus on defending from Giovinazzi and Raikkonen in the two Alfa Romeos right behind us. And I do believe Mick Schumacher didn't have a great pit stop. I think he's behind us. I'm not completely sure, but I think that's the case as we head through Chapel now onto the Hangar Straight. Kimi Raikkonen pretty close to us. Is he going to be able... It doesn't look like he's not really closing up that much, although actually he gets a massive boost out of speed out of nowhere. I don't know if he decided to enable overtake mode halfway down the straight or something, but he came absolutely out of nowhere. You can see understeering him off the track there as we head into the chicane. We're going side by side. Are we going to be able to hold him off? Yes, we are. We're just about going to keep ahead of Kimi Raikkonen at this stage, and I do actually think Mick Schumacher is ahead of us still at this stage. It's actually Mazepin that's right behind us in the other Haas as we head into farm now. Raikkonen still trying to have a go at us here. He definitely has the pace over us. I don't know how we're going to hold him off. You can see it's already 8 seconds to Norris and 4.5 seconds to Ocon, so yeah, we're really struggling here. Points are absolutely off the table at this point. It's just sort of about pride to see how far up the field we can finish, hopefully finish ahead of our teammate. And Alonso did actually come into the pit lane earlier on, for those of you that may not have seen on the minimap. He had to come into the pit lane to fix his front wing, so we are hopefully going to finish ahead of our rival and get some of that driver acclaim that'll obviously lead directly into helping team acclaim. So there's still something to fight for in this race, at least, as we head through Cops. You can see running wider again. I don't think there was a single lap in this race that I've been able to take that corner properly. I'm just struggling so much with this car. As we head through Beckett's, we actually run very wide, and now through Chapel we're side by side with Kimi Raikkonen, and he's absolutely going to get through on us this time. as he's already side by side with us by the DRS. And actually, Nikita Mazepin, out of nowhere, gets a massive boost of speed. He's ahead of us and now trying to attack Kimi Räikkönen as they head side by side through Stowe, running a little bit wide for myself there. As we head into the chicane, they're going to go side by side. Can we do a similar thing to what we did with Räikkönen and Alonso earlier on just after the safety car, and maybe try and get one of these cars as we head through the final corner and start lap 18 here? You can see I think about making it 3 wide. I decided to back out of it though, because that's just a disaster waiting to happen. And you can see Raikkonen's able to sweep around the outside of both of us, and he holds on to P14, Mazepin 15, me 16. Hopefully I can hold on to these guys, maybe make some moves later on in the race, but the chances of that aren't very likely. You can see they're already pulling a massive gap as we head towards Brooklands here. I've just got absolutely no pace. You can see on lap 20 here, I'm still really pushing to try and keep up with these guys. As we head through turn 1, just losing the car. Massive spin for us there. And that's going to allow George Russell, Matsushita, and Nicholas Latifi all through, dropping us down to P19. At this stage, I was very, very close to just retiring. Being down in 19th, it was probably just a better off option to save some engine components. But then I looked at the leaderboard at the top left, and you can see that's when I realised that Alonso was not only behind us, but quite a while behind us there, so we should be able to hold on to him as long as we just bring this car home. So that'll help our rivalry and driver acclaim and whatnot. And at this point, actually, the two Williams and Matsushita are actually really going at it, so this is actually allowing me an opportunity to catch up to them and maybe make up a few more positions and finish ahead of our teammate. So we're going to head down the straight. We've got DRS on them now at this stage. I don't have much overtake mode, but you can see they are really battling. They've spent the whole first half of this lap side by side, at least two of them side by side with each other, and we are right behind Nicholas Latifi now, so maybe we can make some moves and get ahead as we head down this back straight, the alternate starting grid, as we go towards Cops, thinking about putting it down the inside and just backing out there because it's not worth that risk. We want to bring the car home, minimal damage, minimal issues, as we now head through Maggots and Beckett's, trying to keep as close as possible, fight through the dirty air. Can see once again through Beckett's, running it a bit wide, and actually almost losing the car through Chapel as we now head down the hangar straight. I'm not going to be quite close enough, but as we now cut towards the next lap, lap 23, going through Luffield, I'm very, very close to Nicholas Latifi as we now head down the straight using any overtake mode that I have, and we are going to pull right up alongside Latifi as we head through Cops now, getting that position, but you can see running it wide again, and that's going to allow Latifi to try and pull it alongside as we head towards Maggots and Beckett's, but we do hold position over him there as we have the better line, and now we're going to try and chase down our teammate Nobuharu Matsushita. And you can see as we head down towards Brooklands, I think about going to the inside here, but I decide to just back out of it and bide my time, maybe try and make a similar move to what we made on Latifi. Latifi obviously in that Williams, he has a Mercedes engine, Matsushita with a Renault engine similar to us, so we're able to easily pull up alongside and glide right past as we head towards Cops, and we're even able to pull towards the racing line a little bit, although we still run wide, and that actually allows Matsushita to pull right up alongside us. But similar to Nicholas Latifi, we're going to go into Maggots and Beckett's, have the better line, and we are through now, back up into P17, and we just have George Russell to chase down, so he doesn't have DRS like Matsushita and Latifi have, so we should be able to close right in. And you can see as we head down the hangar straight towards Stowe, we really are closing right in on the back of the young Brit, and we should be able to pull a move off on him hopefully in the next couple laps, because there's only 2 laps to go now as we're about to head on to lap 25 of 26. And a big lock up from Russell there, so maybe he can see us coming in the mirrors. Maybe he's been told by his engineer that we have made our way through on his teammate and our teammate, and now he's next on the hit list as we head towards Cops. We'll actually decide to save overtake mode here, because I don't want to do anything too risky. I'm going to save it for the hangar straight. You can see almost losing the car actually through Cops, and now as we head through Maggots and Beckett, it's a case of just trying to keep close with the dirty air. You can see taking it better than I did when I was following them before. As we head through Chapel, we actually get a good run out. We got DRS, we've got overtake mode, we've got the slipstream, like what we had with Giovinazzi earlier on in the race. We easily glide past as we head towards Stowe. And that is us back into P16. And yeah, there's not a chance we're closing in on Raikkonen and Mazepin. They are way ahead and still battling away with each other at this point of the race. But we're going to cut on to now the final lap of the race, the end of the last race. And we're going to cross the line to finish P16. Not a great result.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Plenty of action here at Silverstone. It was a memorable race, and what an impressive victory. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team. And they certainly deserve it.
Right, so here we are on the results screen for the British Grand Prix. You can see Lewis Hamilton taking yet another win in the series ahead of Ricciardo and Bottas rounding out the podium. There's us in P16. Matsushita ends up in P18. He actually stays in the same position he started the race. So, yeah, not a great weekend for us here. Is Vesky Racing Team. Would have preferred, even if we didn't get points, to have been further up. You can see Schumacher right up in 12th. So, if we had had similar pace compared to him as what we usually have, then we would have well and truly been in the points. Just unfortunate, this track's a bit of a dud for myself. But you can see there, we dropped down to 10th in the driver standings. That's not really a big issue. The driver standing isn't a major focus. It's more the constructors' standings. You can see we also stay in P8 there. In terms of rivalry, staying out was actually worth it. You can see we actually tie with Alonso instead of losing. And a tie is good enough to get us driver acclaim, almost 2,000 driver acclaim, that is. So that's good for us there. You can see we're about halfway through level 10. So, yeah, I guess it's now head down and focusing on getting to level 15 to unlock a third secondary sponsor slot. You can see, unfortunately, there we don't get any money for out-qualifying our rival, as we didn't out-qualify our rival. You can see Matsushita, they're getting 30k damage. Somehow, we didn't get any damage. It certainly felt like we did for the entirety of that race. In fact, the entirety of that weekend. But that is it. That's the end of our episode. So, if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this. Next episode, we are going to be in Hungary, a track that I actually do enjoy and am actually quick at. But yeah, hope you did enjoy. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.